started as a simple idea. Produce 1 million liters of oil in a single calendar year. No shortcuts, no handouts, just me, a line of credit, and a stretch of land here in Ray County, Missouri. The rules are simple. I've got 10 years to build an operation capable of doing the impossible. The first few months, I can't plant, I can't build. I can only take contracts. How well I do determines everything. My budget, my line of credit, and how far this dream can go. To hit the goal, I'll need 18 oil factories and more than 2 million liters of crops. Canola, sunflower, or even rice, we'll see. But there's a catch. If my net worth ever drops below zero, it's over. The bank freezes me out and I am forced to sell to stay alive. So here in Ray County, it's not just about farming anymore. It's about building an empire 1 liter at a time. This is the 1 million liter oil challenge. Today we end the prequel of the oil challenge and finally get to our own farm. You can see we are late in December here and our money is a little bit higher than when we left last episode. That's because we've pretty much finished this corn contract and this last 2,700 liters in here is cash for us. It's gonna put us at 235. Let's jump over here and take a look at this ginormous field that we spent all of December harvesting off camera. Yeah, it was a chore. So we did do this contract for Ben. That will give us one for him. We'll collect that, what, $55,000 and puts our total at 291, which is pretty awesome. My goal originally was around 200,000. We got to that last episode and now we got almost another 100,000 here. So some of the things we were gonna think about, let's go ahead and look in the menu now. Looking at the map here, we're gonna target Farmland 19 to use our 25% discount from Walter. That'll be $30,000 off. So we are gonna buy that right now. So 218, 381, we're gonna apply for that. We're not gonna take any of it out yet. We're gonna have 120 months to pay that off. And the way we're gonna do this is that we're gonna use that line of credit. And if we do pay it off, that will allow us to take out another line of credit. So the idea is that our net worth, our collateral starts to grow to where when the time comes that we want to take out another one, we can take out a larger one. So in theory, we should be able to snowball this into some quicker growth if we do this wisely. So right now we're gonna have about roughly $320,000 to play with. And the first thing we're going to do here, we do have this field that, unfortunately, these were some soybeans that were never harvested, and it's just under 12 acres that we have here. So the first thing we should do, though, is take a look at the used market. So right now our priority is going to be on making money. So this isn't bad. 192 horsepower right now on this 6R. So we could get this for 121 long term. We could spend the extra $33,000 to get it all the way up to 234 horsepower. But I really feel this is a decent starter right here. It would be nice to have the front loader attachment for 1,500, but we could always add that on later. So that's something to look at. One of the things I did want to kind of evaluate is this land a little bit. We do have this water here that is ours, which will be nice to take advantage of for filling up. But I wanted to find a little spot here, and we might look at buying another plot of land because I wanted to get some instant income coming in, and that would be some greenhouses. One, if not many. But I really don't see anywhere that would make sense to do that right away. We'd have to get pretty decent amount of land cleared here. And there's more water there. That's not ours. But yeah, so this area would have been ideal to clear, but it's just not flat enough. Let's take a look at some other fields. 10% discount from Noah on this one. Let's visit over here. So if this was one that just was used for some buildings, I mean, we know we're not going to be able to fit all 28 of our, or all 18 of our oil productions here, but this might be good for taking some of it to do some greenhouses and maybe putting a crop in here to make some money as well. Yeah, lettuce is the thing I think we want to target. So let's remind ourselves how much those productions do cost. I mean, we do have the supermarket production mod. We could do some apple trees potentially, but we'd have to buy seed and deliver water. We have the supermarket greenhouse, which requires, other inputs. But I think that the one we've been going with is the $36,000 variety here. The tarp versus the glass one. It costs a little bit more money for the glass one, but I believe they have the same output. One thing to think about here is if Noah had a contract, we're going to do that. All right. I did want to get really started in things, but I think this is like, this challenge is going to challenge me. Like the only way to word it. And I think we got to just really make these decisions and think through them. And we have some time before we absolutely need to get a crop in the ground. I just wanted to get that land established. And I think we do want to make sure we have somewhere to sleep. I just feel like that should be a requirement. So we'll make sure we have either a tent mod in here for the house or a cheap property or something to live in, a cheap house. Is it this direction? So we're gonna get this cultivation contract done real quick in January here. And again, one contract's all we're allowed. Eventually we can, you know, make a little bit more money by using our own equipment. But I think this would be wise, you know, get an extra 10% off from Noah there on that field before we purchase it. And that'll save us, I think it's only gonna save us like $5,000. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is a big challenge and we want to take it serious. I don't want to just wing it. I want to make sure we are making the best decisions possible as we passed our field. I was looking for a road on the wrong side of the street. And if you're new to the channel, there'll be little things that we're going to do in this playthrough that are kind of just rules that I make for my own challenges. One of them is I use the irrigation mod, or I don't know what it's actually called. It allows you to automatically fill the greenhouses. And you pay for it every time it does add water. But at the end of the day, it saves me a lot of effort from having to worry about filling up the greenhouse. So the reason I bring that up is we are going to buy something to be able to manually fill up the greenhouse before I enable that. So those are the kind of rules that I play with. I like to play with universal auto load. And what we do is we're going to make sure we purchase something that would allow us to do the loading of pallets before we can automatically load them onto trailers with the universal auto load mod. So the way it works in my head is it is kind of cheaty, especially in challenges, to use universal auto load, but it saves me a ton of time and effort to make these videos for you guys. So let's get focused. We're 6% done with this already. Once we get these headlands done, we probably should just start it in the middle. That way it could have been a little bit quicker just doing ups and downs, but either way, we'll get it done. We'll get a little bit more of a discount, a little tiny bit more cash, and we'll probably buy that field and flatten it out and get at least one greenhouse going to start making some income on the regular. Finally about to finish this contract. It took a little bit longer than I expected, but let's go ahead and turn that in. And Noah should give us a little bit more of a discount. That's 3 from Noah. Did I look at the wrong person? All right, let's take a look at this again. Oh, it is a 15%, so it's going to give us $5,500 off. Let's go ahead and buy that. It's only going to be $32,000. And let's go visit this little beautiful piece of land that I'm still flying in. And we're going to hop at the sky. We are going to take this corner, I think, because that's going to be the closest to our field. And then we'll have this one back here that we're going to target next. And let's see who owns that. I believe it is Walter. So we still have a 5% discount with Walter. We definitely will want to get that to 25% before we purchase it. But I do want to come in here and flatten this a little bit. And we'll grab from right here. We'll start so it stays that level. It is going to ruin the terrain or the finish of the field. But that's fine. It's not going to be a field anymore, at least right here. And we can, you know, eventually cultivate that back to what we need it to be. Look at those tire marks, the textures in there. Well done. No creek. All right, now let's go back to greenhouses and let's see the size. Oh, that's not bad. So what I think I want to do is we'll probably line them up left to right facing this direction. So we'll start with one right there, and that's not bad. Figure out the ground texture that we want in here too. So, you know, I think that's going to be the one. So let's, yeah, we won't do all of this because I do want to get to some farming. I'll do some of this off camera potentially, and smoothing and softening and all that. That does leave us a pretty decent sized field to make a little bit of cash off a crop still. And, you know, we're going to buy at least some necessities to start with, and we might get to a second greenhouse. But like I said, we're going to slow roll some of this stuff. So we're going to want to build this out a little bit better to have access, unless we're loading the pallets directly this way. But we'll get to that when we need to. So let's go ahead and jump into that used market again. And the 6R is still there. I think this is wise. This is going to really eat into our budget, but we are going to add the front loader. Let's go ahead and buy that. And then we will come to front loaders. We'll get the quick, and I do want to change this to the John Deere green. I think that looks nice, and then we'll do that with both of them. Yeah, that looks great. Let's go ahead and buy that. And we'll go to combinations, and we will get a pallet fork as well. And that pretty much wiped out our budget there, but hopping over to the store to get this all hooked up, we'll need to take a little bit out of the line of credit for the first time to get a water tank. And then I don't think I have the mod enabled yet for the automatic filling, so during this session we will have to worry about that ourselves. But we're going to go somewhat cheap because we have water nearby. So let's go ahead and take a look here. 2,000 liters, and this will be $5,800. So I am going to take out that actual $5,850 from the line of credit. Draw funds, $5,850. Right now our payment's going to be really tiny, so that's not too stressful. And that should allow us to get this purchased. Not bad. Maintenance looks good right now, so it does have 48 hours on it, but it looks like the dealership did do a nice tune-up for us before we got it. Not a bad little starting tractor. I mean, it's not little. It's a good-sized tractor to start with. And the landscape is already changing over here, looking like a little different place. Let's see, there is water right there. I don't think we can... Oh, we probably could get to that, but let's go ahead. We'll just go right here. It's nice. This is our property, our water. And could we do one of these and be safe? I think we can. Nice. Oh, look at crop destruction just tearing up this old field. I love it. And just hop back on the road, and we're right by our greenhouse here. And lettuce is the top dog, so financially, we're going to definitely enable that to begin with. In our productions, we'll go to lettuce, get it activated. This can hold 40,000 liters. Oh, look at this. Can we just cruise right to this and like loop around and not get too... We can. Oh. So 8 water, 1,008 times is 8,000 liters. So we need to do 2 more trips. Okay, we got a revenue stream going. Time to figure out what's next. So here's the thing. We could make a ton of money by doing a bunch of contracts and always, you know, take care of our finances that way. I don't enjoy the game that way. I really wanted to focus on the contracts for just the very beginning of the playthrough. Now, from time to time, we might grab a contract while we're in the middle of some work and work on it in the background to bring in a little bit of extra cash. But I don't want to spend January, February doing contracts. I want to get straight to our farm work. So what we're going to do here is we're going to let this production go. I did fill it up a little bit more. It should have 14,000 liters in it, so it's definitely going to get us through at least a little bit more than a month. I want to see how this is producing overnight, and then we're going to want to get a trailer so we can sell things, because prices are going to be good for a little bit for lettuce. Looking at price fluctuations, right now they're pretty close to the top. In February, they're going to be pretty good and start dipping in March, but let's see if we can get a little bit of cash to potentially... not have to take out as much of a line of credit to be able to start treating these fields. And we definitely... I got a little bit of a trick up my sleeve. We'll get to that when we get to March. But before we skip time, I did want to pop in here and take a look at the used market a little bit and see if there's something that we're wanting to target and that we can't pass. This header is definitely something that I kind of want. It is the flex one, but I don't know what harvester we're going to get yet, so... that would kind of dictate how much we have to spend on a harvester. Let's go ahead. We'll skip some time. See if other things pop up. I'll slow it down kind of like that. Go back in here. And yeah, we don't need that. And I'm just going to do the rest of that off camera. I'll let you know if there's anything we're interested in. And the snow came here in February. Let's take a look here. Nothing really... well, that's too expensive. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Nothing in here still. I think what we have 3 pallets. Time-saving stock check's gonna be our friend right now. That would be $12,000. And a trailer that we're gonna want to buy. You know, I'm probably gonna go with my favorite. It is 20. What else do we have? That could be an option here. 30,000. You know, not a lot of mods that I have on this mod pack. Kind of do a little bit of a somewhat vanilla setup here, but you know, if we could snag potentially all 3 of these and get them sold. And how close are we to a 4th one? Not too far off. Let's try to get a 4th one in here, and let's look at prices and make sure they are on their way down. They're still above max price, so I think we could probably afford the time to get this fourth one in here and get those sold and see how much money that is to limit the line of credit we're gonna have to do. I was kind of tempted to see if we could make enough money to get another one of these greenhouses. We'll definitely be doing that, kind of like we did with Cattle Ranch. We're gonna probably go a little more aggressive than we did with Cattle Ranch. Eventually, we might set these to automatically sell. I haven't decided if I really want to do that yet. All right, hopefully the roads are in a decent condition for us because we're about to go sell these 2 at a time and hope they don't fall off the forks. Looks like we're going 3,800 feet away. Wish us luck. Oh, it's the train station. That's misleading. Let's take a look. Where else could we sell this? It's not a huge difference. Let's go ahead and go here so we don't have to worry about leasing the train. And oh, we're pretty... There it is. I knew it was going to happen. We're pretty familiar with where we're going, so... All right, looks like we're selling it at Pit 1. Let's see if that is the case here. It doesn't seem to be. All right, a little debug did help here. If anybody's using Ray County, you just come over... There's a little collision right there. Okay, you gotta raise it up if we're cheating with super strength, but if you come over here, it looks like right next to Pit 1 is where the sales location is. So, that gave us a little bit of money. Let's go get the other 2 and get those sold. And we'll keep on going. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to dip into the line of credit. We're gonna wanna get the fields prepped because we wanna get them planted in March. So February, we're going to use the rest of this month to get some lime down. We need to get some soil samples. So we're definitely going to dip into that line of credit today. I don't think there's any way around it. And kind of doing some calculations in my head. I do know it takes a decent amount of months to pay back lettuce. But if we can start producing enough lettuce to where we're really just making a ton of it, it might be worth taking the line of credit out. And we'll need to double check and remind ourselves how much we have. While we're driving, we can do that. So line of credit, we do have another 212,000 that we can take out. So honestly, not a lot. We're gonna have to go budget. So I think we will stay with the one greenhouse with that in mind. Knowing that, I mean, leasing is okay. It's not ideal, but leasing is allowed. So when it comes to a harvester for the first year, we might have to do it that way. All right, let's get these 2 pallets picked up. Just, you know, maximizing the income we're making while we can. And we'll get those sold, and then we'll probably start looking at a spreader. Spend as little money as possible on that. And some of this is going to be smaller equipment to start with and tedious work on these bigger fields that we own. But the progression is going to be worth it long term. Oh, that one's sold automatically, so yeah, definitely the sales location right here. Good to know. We learned it. We figured it out. So we have $14,000, and we're going to need some money. I, like, personally, like, dropping any type of strategy or what's the best thing to do. The best thing to do financially, let's just have this conversation, guys, is to do as many contracts as possible. We're not completely here to do min-maxing our finances. We are doing a challenge, but the reality is the challenge won't get finished if it's not fun. So, I do say this a lot. We're going to do what I enjoy versus what would be best for the challenge. Best for the challenge would be doing as many contracts as possible. You know, beating a dead horse at this point. We're not going to do that. We're going to try to get by pretending that, you know, maybe we disable better contracts moving forward. And that was just an initial thing. And it was kind of my thought was to not do any more contracts. But I'm kind of wanting to hold it in my back pocket in case we can't get by financially. I think I convinced myself. Let's make it harder. No more contracts. All right, let's go ahead and take a look and try to make some wise decisions here. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look at the soil. Did we disable precision farming? We did. So that means we need to look at just the old school stuff here. Do we need lime? We're lucky. We don't have to spend any money on lime right now. Fertilizer's in a pretty good state. Weeds we will need to take care of, but we've got a good start here. All right, let's take a look at seeders. And we might add some mods to help us out here. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look at that white color. All right, let's go ahead and switch this to John Deere green, and we're gonna get the 8350, and we can buy more of these long term, but only 6 grand. Do we start with 2? I think we just start with 1. Well, we gotta go over to this dealership, and I'm gonna do a little bit of terraforming to fix field 20, but now that we don't have to do lime, we can skip to March so we can get to planting. And we have enough money. Let's go ahead and buy some seeds. And this is probably where we're gonna have to take out money later, but let's buy some fertilizer and we'll get this filled up and get home. I stopped time because I need to get the greenhouse filled up. We do have a little bit left in there. There's about 2,000 liters of water, but we need to get more in there, and we'll get back and take a look at getting this first planting session going. Is this gonna fit? Is this gonna fit? This entrance is sweet, but it's rough. Oh, we got through there. All right, I'll see you there. This is terrible. Now, if you're wondering if I've lost my mind because we're planting peas, I haven't. I want to do it. I want to plant peas. I want to plant peas. I want to plant peas. I want to harvest peas. We've never done it before. We're definitely going to use the mod that allows you to harvest peas, and I think it's green beans. I don't even know what all the all the different crop types are at this point, but I believe there is a mod. We're going to get it installed that'll allow us to use a regular harvester so we don't have to buy a pea harvester or lease one. And I think this is going to be a way to make some good money. Maybe it's a little cheesy, but it's definitely a strategy I wanted to try out just to kind of mix it up, because we've been doing a lot of the same stuff on the channel and a lot of the same crop types. And yep, that's all the explanation you're getting from me. Let's see how far one thing. Well, we didn't need fertilizer. Why did I buy fertilizer? Oh boy, Chris. Let's take a look and just double check. I mean, we'll use it eventually, but let's make sure. Yeah, so let's come over here. Let's lift. And this is our property, so let's go ahead and do that. And then, oh, we got a fancy container of seeds there. Let's go ahead and just fill up the seed, and we'll see how far, you know, one hopper full of seeds is going to get us on this field. It, you know, the the width is a little rough here. Planting in the winter is also a little rough here with some snow and hail on its way, but we've got to get going. We got to make some progress, and I think that's not how fast I wanted. Oh yeah, we want to go about 18. Using our little trick here with speed override. All right, let's get busy. We'll see how far this goes. Like I've said 20 times, the rambling is done now. You guys are about to see me rage quit, so we're gonna shut off this storm. It's getting on my nerves a little bit. I don't know why it's so hard for the game to handle picking, which I'm picking my words wisely here. I don't understand why it's so hard for the game to pick the lane. Like, it'll be yellow, I'll hit the button, and it'll pick a totally different lane. Like, I've complained about this in multiple videos. Does anybody else struggle with that? Little call to action there. Tell me I suck, or tell me it's okay. Everyone's dealing with it. I need to learn how to use the enhanced vehicle mod that we're using here. The stuff on the bottom right by the speedometer. And I think that'll solve all the problems if I actually got that configured. I just need to spend some time to learn it. All right. Almost done with the headlands. I do want to see how far we can get without running out of seed. And it seems like it's either this mod or peas just don't use a lot of seed, which seems pretty sweet to me. Okay, was that it for the headlands? It does appear so. So, all right, we're going to do a little time lapse here for you guys. Let's see how well these ups and downs go. And let's get our first field planted and finished planted in the oil challenge. But we got to lower the seeder. You know, that lasted pretty good. I am very impressed with that. Let's go get the rest of our seed. I'm gonna try. Well, I don't think we'll be able to do this and finish this field and the next field without buying more seed, but we're gonna try. We're definitely gonna try. Should have brought it back with me, but that's all right. Yeah, 200, we might, I don't know, let's try. Let's try. It's not that far of a drive. We're gonna try. Let's get this finished, then we're gonna do a little bit of terraforming to shore up the other field before we start planting there. And based on how many seeds we have left, we'll probably decide if we're gonna buy before we start planting the other. And we are gonna do peas in both this year. I wanna see how much money we can make off of it. Never done them before. It's not gonna be enough. That's hilarious. I was sure we're gonna have plenty of seed. It's not gonna be enough. We're gonna have to go buy some more just to finish this field. And we're gonna use store deliveries. I wanna see how much this costs us. Like, how much money did we just lose? $32? Yeah, I don't think that's too terrible. Fill that up, and then we'll put these on the forks so we can carry them around with us. All right, so let's get this finished, and then we'll get on to the next field. Not too bad, just a few passes to go. And one field down. Let's go look at this area and figure out exactly where we want to clean up. You know, we did destroy a little bit of the field when we put the greenhouse down, so we're gonna finish a little bit of the painting to get rid of the field and smooth it out. You'll see when we get over there why. All right, let's go ahead, do a little bit terraforming session. We're gonna get the tractor out of the way though, because we're gonna finish this whole area. All right, we'll see in spring how much better this looks, but I already like it a ton. So we do have, what, 4 more pallets? 5? 4? Yeah, not bad. And yeah, a little bit coming as well. So let's get this back in action. I think with how much smaller this field is, we're probably gonna have enough seed already in here. So let's go ahead and lock in place. And oh man, that's making a pretty texture. So we'll have to figure out weeds next, and then it's just wait for harvest, because we got lucky with the fertilizer type. That's going to be a huge savings. I didn't even look at that when we purchased it. Boy, what a good decision. So I think I figured out the big problem. I'm going to move away from controller pretty soon. So I'm hitting, you know, a combination of a trigger button and a regular button. And if I don't let go of them at exactly the same time, it recognizes me as still pressing that button. So it causes me to lift a lot. It causes me to lock in when I really don't want to. I don't think it's the game's fault. I think it is probably like that locked in and it shouldn't have. I just lifted. I think it is a me issue. So let's go ahead and back up. We need to figure out what we're going to do for weeding next. And I really don't want the smallest weeder. So we're gonna kind of see what we can afford here. Let's get these seeds put down. But not bad. We're pretty much done with our spring after we do weeding. Oh, I might have been able to put them in there, but that's all right. Let's remember what we do have, though, horsepower-wise. We are at 192, that's right, so we're pretty good spots. 12 meters is probably the cheapest I would want to go with. And again, this is that one that you could, or you could plant grass and oilseed radish, but you don't get weeds in those. So I don't understand why you'd want a weeder for that. But $41,000 compared to 12.4 for 36. Yeah, let's take $36,000 out of the line of credit. Let's do it. Draw funds, 36,000. We still have 176,000 available. Our payment's still under $500. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and, well, let's change. I do not want this delivered because that'll be a little bit more expensive. But let's go ahead and get it purchased. And then just kind of wait until we can harvest. Look out, deer! I mean, this thing feels massive compared to the cedar. We'll go about 18 on this. If the tractor can handle it. All right, just a little bit of weeding, guys. And we're all prepped for our first harvest. One field down and heading on over to the other one. Feels good. Time's, I mean, it's still not even noon. We're doing great here in March. You know, the right equipment for the right job always seems to make things go a little bit quicker. Or at least feel like it. Got this all prepped here, ready to go. Now I am debating, are we gonna go straight to the harvest, or do we want to find some other things to make some money? Some other ways to make some money? Maybe getting a trailer and a chainsaw, or maybe a fishing pole. I'm gonna get this weeding done, and we're gonna do a little bit of fishing. I do feel like this is a decent size to start with, and I'm already enjoying the approach that we're doing on this better than the $10 million chicken challenge. We're gonna have progression, a lot more progression than we had in that. That was, you know, a lot of money up front and just a lot of hard work to pull off the challenge, where this is gonna be a lot more timely decision making. It feels like a completely different approach, and I mean, it really is, and I just love, that's what keeps me coming back. Like, frustrated with some of the mechanics in the game sometimes, but being able to play it multiple different ways and being able to just play it the way we're playing it now is just awesome to have that flexibility. So we'll get this done, and then we're gonna do some fishing, like I said, but almost there. Also, just, it feels good, guys. It feels good. We're on our own farm, no more contracts. We're just gonna make some progress and get through these years. The early years, we'll get through in probably a couple episodes, and then the later years, it'll probably take a lot more. You know, we get more fields, we have a lot more going on. It's gonna take a little bit more time to get through them. Not gonna kill myself like I did with the $10 million chicken challenge. Oh, that's the wrong button. We are all done. Meant to fold it up. There we go. And we are gonna park right here for now. Let's head on over here, and we need to purchase something, so we're gonna spend a little bit of cash. So for $150, we've got ourselves a fishing pole here. And I think this, you know, we'll get our feet wet a little bit. This is a good spot. We're just gonna wait a little bit. If you've caught the Farm Rescue series, you know the mechanics. We didn't really talk about it there, but we hit circle, and then we gotta kind of, you know, click circle a little bit. I don't know how this would go on a steering wheel. So this might be something that I keep the controller around for, but the steering wheel is absolutely coming back real soon, guys. Let's see how much this fish is gonna bring in. $100. Let's go ahead and sell it. So that made us $100. Let's take a look at our line of credit here. So $486 is our payment. Let's go ahead and make sure we make at least $500 here. So we got 100 down, and we could just make our payment this way. We got plenty of time here in March. And I know there's some rare fish. We'll have to learn a little bit. But I did get one that I think it brought in $400, or maybe it was $500. Gotta keep going here. Come on, don't lose it. Don't lose it. We got it. Got it. Right there. $400 for the gigantic salmon. We got our $500, but I want one more. Let's get one more in before we end the day. All right, here we go. I bet this one's gonna be a bucket or something. No way we get 3 in a row. I mean, can I sell that? Like, it's worth some decent money, I would imagine. At least $10, right? $10 would help right now. All right, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be another gigantic. This is gonna be a trout this time. $400 trout. We got it. We got it. Oh, nope, nope. We don't got it. We got it. It was a trout. We'll take it. All right, we made 600 bucks there real quick, and we're gonna get to the harvest in the next episode. Socks way up. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you on the next one.